Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Nate. I also go by Hockey Boy Nate, and today we are going to be discussing about how weather in general for the US could be ramping up significantly over the next week, maybe even a week and a half. Things are starting to get crazy here, so this is the video for August 5th, 2021. If you guys are new to my channel, please be sure to leave a like. You see a thumbs up button down there. If it's gray, please make it blue. Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family, and on social media. Also follow me on social media. Link will all be in the description down below. Also, if you guys want to pick and choose between what you want to see here in the video, timestamps are in the description. But first things first, we'll be talking about the severe weather and how things are going to be kind of rumbling about. It'll start to kind of uptrend here over the next couple of days. So here's the day one outlook for today. I mean, it is, even though it's 6 o'clock here Eastern Daylight Time when I'm recording this, I'm still going to be talking about this a little bit more because you could see these showers and thunderstorms linger off into the overnight hours. So if some people do watch my content as soon as it's uploaded, which I'm praying to God that most of you do, then you'll be able to see some severe weather in some of the following areas. So if you are in the dark green within some of these areas, that is a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale right within that area. So you guys could get some damaging winds and upwards of 58 miles per hour or larger, hail and upwards of 1 inch as well in some spots. This light green general vicinity is just a general thunderstorm risk. So if you're in any of these areas, you guys could get some thunderstorms. It's not really a huge chance of it being severe, but it's still something right within your area, so watch out for that. Actually, right within my area up here in southern PA, we actually got some thunderstorms. So it's just one of those things where it's just a recommendation and a nice little pointer as the likelihood of where these thunderstorms could actually be. As I said, there's your hail risk, there's your wind risk, not a major tornado risk here for today, so that is the good news for you all. Day 2 outlook. This is where things start to kind of uptrend a little bit. I think this has the potential of possibly becoming a slight risk for wind. That would make it, instead of it being a 5% chance for 58 mile per hour winds here in places of Iowa and Illinois, it'll make it as a 15% chance for damaging winds and upwards of 58 miles per hour or above. So I would definitely watch out for that if you live anywhere near Chicago, all the way through towards the Quad Cities area, even north towards La Crosse, that general vicinity. I really would want to watch out for that. And then you also have some leftover severe weather over towards the general vicinity of Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, all the way down to the panhandle of Nebraska. You guys could potentially see some stuff there as well, heading into tomorrow, which would be Friday. Not a major tornado risk, again, says less than 2% within most areas, so we're going to head off to day 3, and the thing of it is I actually won't be here to cover this event live. It most likely will be an enhanced risk in my honest opinion. I think it'll be a good risk for damaging winds. Not really a huge tornado risk with this, might be a 5%, but the chances for supercells are really small. There's a very small window for there to be organized thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes. That's what supercells are for any of you who may be new. And so I think this will more or less be a giant Boeing segment that'll begin to congeal as time moves along through towards the evening hours into the latter stages of overnight hours, especially the overnight hours. The overnight hours are really going to enhance this thing to a degree, so we're really going to have to watch out for that as time continues to progress on Saturday. But I will not be here if this does end up being a 5% chance for tornadoes. I am going to be away on vacation in Massachusetts, and so I will not be uploading a video until most likely August 15th when I will be coming back. But that's why I'm trying to get as much information out for you all as possible here over the next couple of days. Try and make it as precise and accurate as possible so that there isn't any sort of surprises that come up by the time I come back. Now, the thing of it is that we can't go into the specifics as to what each parameter's likelihood is from the Storm Prediction Center, but there is a 15% chance of severe potential right here in Minnesota, South Dakota, into Nebraska, Iowa, and even Wisconsin. Would not be surprised to see some of that action over there. High temperatures in some of these areas. This is for tomorrow. This would be Thursday. You can see it's getting a lot warmer here in the southwest as well as the central plains here. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube saying that it's going to be you guys might be getting a bit more of drought conditions. I'd have to disagree a little bit, mainly because you guys saw on the convective outlook that there will most likely be some showers and thunderstorms associated with this. There's this giant low pressure system that's sitting either in Canada or in the Dakotas, and it's just been creating this thunderstorm activity for the most part here within the plains. So I would not say that this will probably be an exceptional drought area, because there's going to be more and more thunderstorms and rain, but you could see some spotty drought areas over some of the general vicinities that have already seen 0 to nil rain. It's just the same trend that we've been seeing over the past month or two. But really interesting to say for that. And the other thing that I want to make a note of is that from the Great Lakes all the way down towards the Florida Panhandle, all the way up into the Northeast, temperatures are almost identical. It's either low 70, well, the upper 70s, upper 70s to mid 80s, even into 90s. You can see in some areas here in like Tampa's 91 over here. Same thing for Baltimore. Baltimore is also 91 up there as well. So relatively consistent temperatures north-south along the eastern seaboard, right within that time frame of tomorrow. So I'd really watch out for that. Nothing really too concerning compared to some of the other areas that are in triple digits, like the Central Plains or the Southwest, but really something to make a note of with that. And then here's our Saturday high temperatures. Not as high as it once was the day prior here in the Central Plains into the Northern Plains. Still relatively high in the Southwest, so not really any relief for those wildfires out there, which have been pretty detrimental to places north and east of Sacramento. There's the river fire over there, which is pretty bad, and the Dixie fire, which is also pretty bad. I've seen a couple videos of that, and I'm praying for all the people over there that, there's not really, it's not really as bad as we've seen so far, and that people are safe as well. So just praying for you all. And then there's a little bit of relief here towards the northwest. You can see how some temperatures actually get into some of these yellows, and the yellow actually indicate 60s and below. So places in and around Seattle into the higher elevations, you guys could be getting 70s at max and all the way down to the 50s at minimum. So really interesting for a higher temperature on Saturday for you all. And then the Northeast, just continuing to talk about the Northeast here, it's the same thing as before, 80s to 90s in localized spots. And it's actually kind of the same throughout much of the areas here along the eastern seaboard. So nothing really too much to report with that as well. Let's take a look at the simulated radar here. Reflectivity, as we like to call it, because rain typically reflects back towards the radar when the radar kind of sends out these little beams. And so really interesting to make a note of. If you guys want to take a look at the time, it's always over here on the left-hand side. Well, it's not always. Today it is over there, but that is in Eastern Daylight Time. So if you want to figure it out for Central Daylight Time, you'd have to subtract 1 hour from it. Mountain Daylight Time, you subtract 2 hours from it. And so right about 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, you can see there's already some showers and thunderstorms that are starting to billow off here today on Thursday. And this will start to congeal into a bit more of a line that'll form across into Minnesota. And that's the reason why you have that 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale up there. You also have some lingering showers and thunderstorms over here into places of Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Even some extra activity over here on the southern side of Texas as well. So nothing really too much to worry about for that. Maybe some scattered showers and thunderstorms that continue to progress. And then by tomorrow morning on Friday, you can see some early morning showers that continue to basically progress from the previous night all the way down towards the Quad Cities area near the Mississippi River, and even closer towards Lake Michigan into the populous area of Chicago and Milwaukee. So just something to note of for early morning travel tomorrow, last day of the week for the most part, into the weekend. And so just try to be safe out there. If roadways are wet, don't try and overexert to try and get to work if you're late, because hydroplaning is a thing. Trust me. I know all too well from chasing that hydroplaning is a thing. I haven't crashed quite yet, but I'm not banking off of the fact that I'm you know, I'm invincible. I'd rather be safe than sorry, and I'd recommend that to you guys as well. So just continuing here within the same topic, those showers and thunderstorms continue to move on through, even for another round through Quad Cities, right within the general vicinity there. By the late afternoon to the early evening hours, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, could see some more showers and thunderstorms that form across there. And then once we get towards the latter stages of the afternoon and evening and mountain daylight time, around 4 o'clock, you see a lot of scattered showers and thunderstorms that really start to fire off over here in Wyoming, even the western panhandle of Nebraska, and that'll continue to basically become more or less scattered. But the one thing I want to draw attention to here is the reason why there is a marginal risk for that general vicinity in Illinois. So we'll go back a little bit, and by 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, there's some scattered showers and thunderstorms that form just to the south of Rockford. And look at this explosion here. Look at how massive this line becomes over the span of, say, a couple of hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. The massive explosion of these showers and thunderstorms will most likely create some strong damaging winds. And the reason why I say that they will most likely become a slight risk is because you can see how this thing becomes a bit more of an arcing segment. And usually when those lines kind of arc, it means that right at the tip of that arc, that's where most of the significant damaging winds are going to be coming from within that general vicinity. So really something we're going to have to watch out for from 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time and onwards in Illinois. Most likely you guys are going to get your showers and thunderstorms that'll really become significant, possibly significant, and more than likely severe. You also get your showers and thunderstorms that'll move off from Wyoming and Montana into the Dakotas in the early morning hours up there. And even some lingering showers and thunderstorms that'll continue to move on through and then begin to deteriorate once you get into the early Saturday morning hours. So that's the good news for you all. Nothing really too significant here within the Saturday afternoon time frame besides some stuff that might occur in southwestern portions of North Dakota. But then this is where we're really going to want to watch out for the beginning of severe weather. You can see this little bit of a line right here that starts to form, and this is the reason why there's a marginal risk, a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale that extends all the way down towards portions of Amarillo. And it's just because of this line. This line could potentially produce damaging winds and even some spotty hail as well. And so by the time frame of the afternoon hours at around 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., that's when you guys can see some more of your showers and thunderstorms that can become severe. You can see how this line really starts to uptrend at around 5. And then as this continues to progress into the evening hours, it'll really push on through into the main portions of Kansas. The other thing that I want to talk about here is, well, two things actually, is the initiation of these thunderstorms off in southern portions of Nebraska, as well as along the border of the Dakotas, North Dakota and South Dakota, and how that progresses on further towards the Minnesota general vicinity. And so you can see how this eventually travels along. By 11 p.m. it starts to cross into Minnesota. You even have some showers and thunderstorms that begin to initiate in the northern portions of Iowa, and how this continues to progress. Look at this. Look at how sporadic this has became once it gets past midnight right here. This is 1 a.m. midnight on Sunday, and look at this. Absolutely widespread across the board. Good reason why there is a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale over there. And unfortunately, that is where the model ends. We don't have more information beyond that besides some low resolution stuff, and low resolution things don't exactly give us precise answers that we need. So I'll give you guys more information as to what's going to be happening with severe weather tomorrow if you guys stay tuned to that video. But otherwise, that is, for the most part, what all is happening in severe weather. Let's transfer over to tropics now. Tropics, yes. A lot of activity is basically uptrended over the past 24 hours. We have a new Invest that is coming off of Africa. We have Invest 92L, that is what it's called now, and it's right here, this red blob right within this general vicinity, coming closer to the Cabo Verde Islands, Verde Islands, I should say. That right there is what we're going to watch out for, the highest potential of new tropical development. And of course, this will continue to move off towards the west. So whether or not this thing will head off and impact the U.S., that is the main question, of course. What is the answer to that? Well, it's a bit far out to say. So we're going to have to continue to talk about it a little bit more as time continues to progress. We also have to monitor this other area of interest. Not as high of a chance of formation over the next couple of days. Over the next 5 days, it only has a 20% chance of formation, but it's still something that we have to watch out for, especially as it gets closer to the Lesser Antilles. And if this thing does end up forming, does this end up going up the East Coast? Does this stay out to sea? Does this impact the island of Bermuda? Those are the major questions with all of that. The Eastern Pacific here, we have 3 areas of interest to watch out for. We have what was Hurricane Hilda is now Tropical Depression Hilda. We finally have the tropical storm from Tropical Depression 9E. It is now Tropical Storm Jimena. So Jimena or Jimena, either or. Point being is it's a tropical system finally, and it's about time. And so it's really interesting to make a note of with that, and to whether or not that could impact Hawaii. And we also have the Eastern Pacific over here with this disturbance that could potentially be forming within the next 5 days. I'm saying more and more likely that this will most likely become a tropical system probably 5 days from now, if not 6 or 7 days. The chances of it forming will most likely begin to amplify as time continues to progress, and you might even see, small chance of forming over the next 48 hours as well. So really something interesting to make a note of with that. The Central Pacific, you can see where Jimena or Jimena is and Hilda is compared to Hawaii, whether or not that'll continue to head off to Hawaii or head off north, head off south, go into all sorts of different wonky directions. That is something that we'll have to determine with these. This is the cone of uncertainties for this. This is Tropical Depression Hilda. And the good thing about this is that it's actually forecasted to continue to deteriorate as a tropical depression and even die out by Saturday morning. So that's the good news there for the island of Hawaii, the citizens of Hawaii, that this thing is not expected to become all too significant. It is a 35 mile per hour storm, so not exactly all too significant. We do have Tropical Storm Jimena at the moment, and if I pull up the stats on Jimena real quickly, Jimena is actually a 40 mile per hour storm with a minimum pressure of 1,005 millibars, moving northwest at 8 miles per hour. So this thing is expected to hold its tropical storm strength until tomorrow morning, to which it will become a tropical depression, continue to wither out, and even as it gets closer towards Hawaii, not expected to do a whole lot. So I'm just anticipating some scattered showers and thunderstorms within your general vicinity, not a huge major impact for you all. I was able to continue to watch out through for this for you all over the past week and a half, and I'm basically declaring it now as not a huge threat towards the big island of Hawaii. Now, if we go back to the Atlantic here, and we show you all our disturbances here, just remember where these all are at. So this is the current wave right here of where Invest 92L is, and then this is the other disturbance that's heading towards the Lesser Antilles. Let's take a look at the satellite imagery now, and you can see there is a lot of activity here. I'll scroll down a little bit. You can see here is 92L. It's still over land at the moment, but you can already kind of see the swirl in the atmosphere that a typical tropical wave creates. It's almost kind of like a wave, actually, if you think of it off of the water. So you have this little bump right here and then another little bump right here. And it's just a little wave after wave after wave that continues to kind of progress. And if it gathers more showers and thunderstorms, creates a lot more convergence where thunderstorms basically smack into each other, then we can start talking about an organized tropical system and how this thing continues to progress. So here's 92L. Here's the area of interest that we'll be watching over the next 5 days as to whether or not something continues to move on through and does something with that. We also have a couple other areas to watch here. We have this broad low pressure system here south of Cuba. We also have this very weak low pressure system off in the middle of the Atlantic. There's a giant high pressure right over here within this general area. You can see how we have this clockwise spin right within here, and that's basically creating this little bit of a wall for this other low pressure system that is gathering a lot of showers and thunderstorms within this line to basically stay put almost. That's the reason why there's a lot of showers and thunderstorms along the eastern seaboard as of late, and that'll continue to stay there until this high pressure system eventually moves off, and then we'll be talking about these other tropical disturbances. If they do form, will that stay south of the high pressure system, and could that impact other areas that are south of the high pressure, which would basically mean that some areas here along the east coast could have the potential of it to be impacted here by the end of next week. So really something to make a note of with that. Let's take a look at two different model runs here. We're going to take a look at the ECNS model ensemble guidance. This will basically tell us as to where are there opportunities for tropical systems to form and where they could potentially go. And so a couple things that I do want to make a note of is that up here, if you see these little tracks, these little lines differ in any sort of color, what that then just look up here and it'll tell you what it means in the wind speed. So this kind of light blue is 20 to 30 knots. This dark blue is 30 to 40 knots. 40 to 50 knots is in green. 50 to 60 is in yellow. 60 to 70 is in orange. Light red is in 70 to 80. 80 to 100 is kind of this pinkish red, and then 100 and above is pink. So just something to make a note of with that. And so by taking a look at some of these ensemble models, we do have a couple in the beginning that say that this tropical system will begin to form and then it'll kind of die out a little bit. And so it won't be a very long-lived system. But then a little bit later, as time continues to progress, you might get some other instances to where you have a tropical system to form here in the main development region again. And whether or not this thing will continue to progress westward, well, a couple models say it won't do that. A couple models say it'll actually head off almost due north in some spots, even towards the general vicinity of Bermuda, out further towards sea. But then there's a couple of these other ensemble models that we'll be watching too. And you can see how dangerously close it gets towards the Florida Peninsula here. And so really something that we got to watch out for as this continues to progress. And even if this does end up going a bit further south, could the Gulf of Mexico get into this action as well? We'll have to see as that continues to get closer and closer towards the end of next week. If we take a look at the GEFS, however, this is a little bit different. We have a couple ensemble models that say this will stay off into the water. There's a couple others that say that it might make an attempt to get in towards the Caribbean, but otherwise it's not exactly all too active. And even if we go a bit further out into the forecast hour, you can see here that it doesn't really make too much of an impact to the U.S. However, there is a couple areas here in the Gulf of Mexico that we will have to watch out for a little bit later, as there is an area of enhanced lift in that general vicinity. I was talking about the general low pressure system that was off in the Caribbean earlier. There could be more instances to where that could potentially form off and potentially pose a threat towards the areas of the Gulf of Mexico. So really something we're going to have to watch out for as time continues to progress. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family and on social media. Also follow me on social media. Again, the big thing here is that we got to watch in the middle part of next week into the latter stages of next week, as to how this thing continues to progress. And then once we get into next week, of course, into the middle stages of that and the latter stages of next week as well, then we can potentially start talking about tropical systems that could impact the U.S. Where that will eventually impact, I'll be right on it here for you all once I get back. So that's Sunday, August 15th. That's when I'll start uploading again. I have one more episode. If you guys stay tuned for that, as I said, turn on notifications. I will upload it tomorrow and keep you guys all up to date as to what all could be happening this hurricane season.